What's up guys, Chris Zaglansky here, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the 2021 Tarmac SL7 Pro. And this is like that midnight blue that fades into that grayish silver around the rear triangle area. But let's take a closer look at this bike and see what it's spec'd out with. So they make different models of this. They make the Tarmac SL7 Pro with the Ultegra Di2 in this bluish color. They make it in a almost like a wine midnight red, and for the SRAM version they make a 1x, which is that white that looks really good. They've been doing it on the LA Sprint model frame, and I think they did it on another frame I just cannot remember. But taking a look at this bike, this one's going to be set up with the Ultegra Di2, which is an electronic group set, which is honestly great. It's been one of the better platform group sets, I would say, for budget wise. If you're on like a budget build and you don't want to be in the mechanical range and you want electronic groupo, I would say this is pretty much the one to get. Compared to the Dura-Ace, I know the Dura-Ace looks a little bit cleaner. It's very similar, but instead of being gray like the Ultegra, the Dura-Ace is just like a gloss black, like a high vis black, which still looks really great. But between the both and the weight, it's honestly probably a few grams. I'm not exactly sure, but I know when they Specialized specs out these bikes, or if you're doing just if you get your hands on a pro setup like this or an S-Works build and you want to put Ultegra because you're on a budget, dude, I would say do it 100%. They both are going to shift the same. One is just a little bit lighter. So this one has the Ultegra on there. Again, very clean ergonomic groupo. The hoods are very sleek. And again, we're seeing that S-Works Aerofly 2 handlebar that Specialized has used on the previous Venge model frame, and on this new SL7, and on the S-Works version of this bike. So this bike is going to be equipped with the wheels. It's going to be the Roval Rapid CL model. They're not going to be the CLXs. They are going to be the same exact depth and wheel millimeters. The front is 51 millimeter and the back is going to be a 60. Again, with that staggered look, the bike just looks very aero, very aggressive, and the front wheel, like the CLX, on the CL model, it still has that wider in the front and narrow in the rear. And the reason why Specialized does this, they're one of their favorite quotes is "Aero is everything," and they have a wind tunnel in their facility. So they're saying when you're riding through, doesn't matter if it's a headwind, tailwind, or a side wind, that if your front wheel is thicker than your rear wheel, it's actually going to break the wind easier, and then less drag across the back of the bike. So it makes sense. They look great. I have this on my 2020 Sagan Venge, and the wheels look really great. They're super fast. But one thing that we are not seeing with this Grupo, or with these wheels, I'm sorry, is that in this model, the CLX, they're not going to be with the ceramic speed bearings. Also in the SL7 S-Works, the BB is no longer going to be ceramic speed. I'm not sure why they did that. I don't know if it's for budget reasons or if they just, their contract was canceled with ceramic speed. But again, the bikes are really smooth. The BB and the hubs and the front wheel are going to be that DT 350 for the CLs, and I believe on the CLXs it might be like a 240 or 180. Going forward with the BB on this bike, they're no longer going to be being a press fit bearing. They're going to be threaded. So I know before in the past they had a lot of issues with having a press fit BB30. They wouldn't last as long. I'd have a lot of customers come back and be like, man, like my bearings are just creaking and craking and they just make a lot of noise. You're no longer really going to have that problem on durability with this new threaded external BB that they're doing on this bike. One thing I do like on this colorway is just, you can kind of see that raw carbon look on that top tube, but in the sun, I mean, today it's kind of like a cloudy day, but it's just a beautiful gloss color. Fades into the gray. When I first saw this color, it reminded me of the Addicts Quick Step bike, because I know they had an S-Works version that we saw some leaks of the photo before they released this bike, and I thought this was going to be the pro model of that, but it wasn't. But it looks very close. to that bike. Stem is going to be the same on the SL7 S-Works. With the Pro model, this one is just a standard Specialized one of the SL7. The S-Works one's probably a few grams lighter, but same thing. Cables are ran internally through the top of your hoods and through the bottom of the stem. Comes down here and then gets distributed throughout the bike. This is a 56 model, so I believe the weight on this will probably be around 16 pounds. I know the S-Works version was around 15. The components are here a little heavier. Wheels are a little heavier, so I believe it's around that 16 mark, maybe low 17s. Don't quote me on that, but again, with the rotor setup on here, if you are trying to reduce weight, what I said before, one of the things I love about the Shimano other than the SRAM is you can run smaller rotors. I believe on the SRAM version of this bike, it's 160. This is gonna be 160 in the front, 140 in the rear. But what I did on my Venge is, I'm like, man, Florida is not a lot of hills, not a lot of mountains, pretty flat state. These brakes are hydraulic, so they're gonna stop you regardless. So what I did is I took my 140 that normally goes in the rear and I put it in the front, and it's super simple. It's kind of a little trick you can do. There's a bracket on here. It says for 160 use, 180 or 140. You actually just flip this the opposite way, and it actually brings your brake caliber closer to your fork, allowing you to put a smaller rotor on the front of your bike, which looks really clean. Look, I mean, even if you were in other states and you did it, I'm sure they're still gonna stop you. It's just a lot cleaner, smaller look with the rotors, which I really enjoy. But that being said, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns on this bike, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, drop down a question or comment down in the comment box below, and we will see you guys next time. Later.